Good afternoon and welcome to the educational session. My name is David Kokel and I am proud and honored to be here. So welcome to Toastmasters with Technology. Now, it's not that we don't want to be at the business meeting, but how many of us have ever watched paint dry? Okay, so that's why we're here. We're going to have some fun, but like Toastmasters does, I'm going to kind of push you out of your comfort zone a little bit, and I'm going to ask you to come link arms with me and skip down the technology road and kind of see where that takes us. Now, like I said, it's going to take you out of your comfort zone, but that's okay, because as Toastmasters, that's kind of what we do. Now, I normally would not do this with an audience, but because you are all speakers, I wanted to share this with you. I had a very slick PowerPoint with a lot of embedded videos in it in my laptop. It so happens that I left the charger for my laptop back in my office. So when I got here this morning, I had nothing. Now, some of you are thinking, well, that's not good, and you would be right. However, because I know the material, I was able to do it. So what we're looking at, this is WordPad, our friend WordPad, what you get free when you buy Microsoft Windows. So we're rolling with it. The idea, though, is that there are going to be times as a speaker where things just don't line up, and you have to be ready for them. So that's the little inside information I would not share with an audience, and I'm not going to apologize for it. But I want you to know that that was part of it. So it may look a little different. It's not the way I wanted to, because the videos you'd have enjoyed them. But we're going to talk about some technology here first. And because my clicker doesn't work on this, I get to scroll down. So as a Toastmaster, what I have gotten most has not been public speaking, although I now consider myself to be a professional speaker. It is not leadership, although I am very much in a leadership position and I've started my own business. What I've got mostly out of Toastmasters is to be comfortable outside of my comfort zone. And that has served me well. In 2010, I lost my son to suicide. It was being comfortable outside of my comfort zone was the only tool that I had to deal with that. And so I am forever grateful for Toastmasters to be able to say that, and that that's part of my experience. And I feel like I've had to deal with the toughest thing that I ever will in my life, so I look at it as it's all downhill from here, in a good way, not in a snowball way. So that's about the comfort zone, but I really relate to comfort zone, and so I'm going to use that and kind of push you a little bit, push you out of your comfort zone, because I'm going to be asking you to do things that you probably do not do now, and I want them to be regular things. So, having said that, all learning and growth happens in our comfort zone, not eating potato chips on the couch. All right, I need everyone up. On your feet, everyone, almost everyone. How many of you have ever met Kinza Christensen? Kinza's a Toastmaster from Oconomowoc. She's a professional speaker. One of the things that she does is she gets people to do the wiggle. Do you know what the wiggle is? Here's the wiggle. Okay, I want everyone to wiggle, and as you wiggle, I want you to wiggle toward the center of the room. Okay, yeah?
This reminds me of a scene
Okay.
from Sorrow the Gay Blade.
Excellent. Okay. You can stop wiggling now. And wait, I didn't say sit down, Cat. Simon didn't say that. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take a group selfie. So can you all get in it? Many as we can. Many as we can. Okay? There we go. Educational session right there. Now, I've hooked my phone up to this projector. Personally, I think that's pretty cool, because you're going to be able to see what literally is happening on my phone. And right now it's also recording it too. So the people at the business meeting they heard that paint dry joke, or they will. I better turn this off. But we're going to be getting back to doing some things with their phone. So I've just taught you as a speaker a great icebreaker. Do a group selfie. It is amazing what that does to disarm an audience and to wake it up and live. Now, the wiggle was just a bonus. But a group selfie is a great way to create unity in a room. And when you want to bring, it's all of a sudden, I've gathered you all emotionally and we're all here together. It's a great way to do it. And it's kind of popular socially. So, group selfie. And it also sets the mood. Now, you can't talk about selfies without talking about photo bombs. Now, how many people know what I'm talking about when I talk about a photo bomb? Somebody yell out, what does it mean? Anybody? Right here. What's a photo bomb?
Injecting your face into somebody else's photo.
Right. Now, there's polite ways of doing it, and there's rude ways of doing it, or you can jump in or do a lot of different things. I happened to photobomb a group this morning that they were taking a picture with their banner, and they were all lined up, and I just had the opportunity, so I just kind of moved into the picture and did a little wave. I'm going to encourage you to do that. I want you to be respectful photobombers, but I want you to get your mugs out there and have some fun with this. Right? Because we take ourselves sometimes too seriously. Photobombing's not a bad thing. Do it, but be respectful. So, how many people in this room feel like they have a fairly good command of how their cell phone works? Show of hands. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I am going to ask you folks to help some of the cell phone slower folks out as we go, because we're going to do a couple of things together. All right, so is that okay? I'm asking you to just, and that means you may have to get up and walk around, so if people are having problems, they can raise their hands, and we want to get everyone on your way. So, is everyone's phone turned on? Phone needs to be turned on because this is hands-on. If you did not bring your cell phone, look on with a neighbor. You need to participate in this experience at least partially. Okay? So phones are on. I need you to connect to the Wi-Fi on the hotel. Now, you may be asking me, David, how do you do that? Funny you should ask. I have an answer. So this is an Android operating system. If it was an Apple, it would still have a gear. So what I'm doing is I'm looking for the gear, and my gear is right there in settings. And do you see where it says Wi-Fi? And then I tap on Wi-Fi. Now I'm already connected to the Hotel Marshfield. I want everyone else to as well, because that way we will all be on the internet. Now, one thing I have to tell you is that if you look at the access, it's going to say open. Okay, that means there are absolutely no safeguards between you and the bad guys. Who is calling me? Okay, well, we're not going to take that. It was in Texas. And by the way, I do a little dance a lot of times before I answer my phone, just because it's fun. Okay, so we're connected to the Hotel Marshfield. Bad guys can get to your stuff. Do not check your bank account balances in an open Wi-Fi. It has to be secured. If you don't put in a password, assume that the bad guys are watching you. Okay, so it's secured Wi-Fi. Now, you could see that the HM NoWeb is secured. Actually, that their print server, I could actually log on to their print server and dump some of my stuff onto it right now because that's open. If you're open there, you don't want to do things like check email or check bank accounts. Can you surf the internet? Yes. But don't go into your personal stuff because your passwords are sent over in the clear. They're not encoded. So that's why we don't do that. So if you're not technically savvy, just remember that you don't go to Starbucks and check your email because people like to, but unless it's secure, unless you've taken steps, to make sure that the bad guys can't get it, they might could. And identity theft is nothing you want to mess with. So I just wanted to give you that. So are we all on? If anyone having a problem connecting with the Wi-Fi? Ron? Awesome. Okay, put your phones on vibrate. That includes me. Does everyone know how to do that?
How do you do that?
Okay, I'm on an Android. Minions tell me that I have messages. So I swipe down this screen and I have a sound there, and then it's on vibrate, and then it's on mute. Do you see the icon in the center? I'm just tapping that. Now that's for an Android, and Apple's going to be slightly different. What kind of phone do you have, ma'am?
Android?
Android, okay. Did you find it?
I
Okay.
had sound, but I don't know where you go after that.
Okay, sound right here, I'm just tapping it. It goes from mute, sound, to vibrate, to mute. Okay, this is important because you'll annoy people in meetings if you can't shut off the sound on your phone. All right, does everyone got good with the sound? Are we here? Do we need help? I'm looking for feedback. Thumbs up? We're rocking, all right. Okay, so now I want you to go into text messaging. And for me, text messaging looks like that. Do you see the envelope with the yellow paper coming out? Almost near the bottom on the right-hand side, that's messaging. So I can go into messaging. Those are all the people I've messaged. So I want you to write a message, and for me, I'm pressing that little green button in the corner, and I want to send the text to 50500. And that's where I want you guys to send the text to. Normally, if this was your friend, it would be their cell phone number. That's how texts work. So we're sending a message. So is everyone with me so far? Okay. So we're going to, into the message, we're going to put in David Kokel, all one word. And then hit send. And so if you don't have a text plan, it might get expensive, or it might cost you a quarter or a nickel. All right. Now, what happened is that you just got my personal information downloaded to your phone. And that's very cool. Now, if you didn't get it?
No.
Not yet.
No, my provider won't permit it.
Oh, they won't. Okay.
With public wireless.
Here's the thing, is that what I did, you can do this for free. You go online and sign up. The company's called Context. If you can't remember any of that, you can just Google 50500. And you sign up for an account, you put in all your personal information, and if you're speaking in front of a group, you walk them through this, and all of a sudden they can have all your information. So it's actually pretty cool. All right, so we actually did that. All right, how many of us are on Facebook? Raise your hand. Great. All right, on your phone, let's go over to Facebook. Does everyone know how to get there? And if you don't have an account, that's okay. So for me, I'll go back. And this is the Facebook icon, the big F on the lowercase f on the blue background, right in front of that handsome airplane. And that's my Facebook page.
David?
Yes.
You said that because we're on an open system, we shouldn't use our bank account. But Facebook is, in some ways, a similar sort of thing. You don't want just anybody.
It is similar
So now are we all?
in that way. I was already logged on. And the other thing, too, is that you also have access through your phone. And when you do it through your phone, it's secure.
Okay.
When you do it through Wi-Fi, you have to be careful.
Right.
And usually when you sign on, there will be an icon whether or not it's secure. Instead of saying HTTP, it'll say HTTPS. Right. So I took this picture on my way here this morning. I was up at the sun. I watched the sunrise and my windows need to be washed. So what I want you to do is in that search box up here, I want you to type my name. And I'll even spell it correctly. And then hit the magnifying glass to do the search. And it's looking, and it'll come back in just a minute. Now, the fact that we're all doing this on the same time in some very, very narrow bandwidth at the hotel may be slowing us down a little bit. But that's me. Ooh, there's another one of me. He's not near as handsome as I am.
It's DAWID, isn't it? The other one?
It could be.
Oh, maybe you just did that to differentiate himself.
Yeah. So, I don't friend myself, but I want you all to friend me. And the reason is because I have the prizes and you don't. And I want to get rid of them. Right, Jason?
That's right.
Absolutely. And not just those prizes, because I'm going to give some appreciations. Sorry about that. And one for you, sir, for being a good helper. I'll explain what those are later. So we've logged into Facebook. How much did you send me the friend request?
Yes.
Did you get to it? All right. Here's the thing. You're going to want to become friends with most of the people in your Toastmaster club. And the reason you do is that you want to be able to mention them when you take a picture at the club. So one of the next things we're going to do is we're going to take a picture and we're going to send it to me. All of us together. So literally, I want you to take a picture of me here in the front of the room and send it to me. How many of you have never taken a picture with your cameras before? One, okay. So give it a whirl. Now, I'm going to give you a world-class piece of advice right now. There are two modes in the world. There is portrait mode and there is landscape mode. And the reason I mention that is because phones are made to be held in portrait mode. Televisions are built to work in, projectors work in, so you should be taking your pictures in, yes, thank you. And that includes videos as well. Now, if you shoot a video and you shoot it in portrait mode, you either may have to turn your head to look at it, or turn the projector, or you have to convert it somewhere else. So yeah, that's exactly what that is. Go ahead and show them. What I gave these two gentlemen is a tripod mount. I sell them outside. I won't talk about that now. I'll talk about it later. But it's a way that you could put your cell phone on a tripod. And I will bet you that if you have a Galaxy 4 or 5 or an Apple 5 or 6, it's probably the highest quality camera that you have. Even maybe with the exception of some digital SLRs with some nice lenses. But my cell phone has better quality video than my video cameras do. Absolutely. And it's a tool that we carry around with us. So one of the things I really want you to take away from this session is that you already have the tool. You already own it. This costs you nothing. So we want you to be able to use it.
Which ones are the best for cell phone? Which for video and photograph?
What a great question. And I'm going to come back to that. I would like you to ask me that a little bit later when we get into video, just because it will make more sense. I also have a business page, You can like it. I would prefer you like it, but you don't have to. If you want to keep tabs on me and maybe see some of the video that we shoot today, there will be a link to it there. I am recording this session today so the people at the business meeting can see it as well. So you will be able to see this again, and if you're lucky, maybe see yourself on video too. Now we can go in and do LinkedIn. I have over 2,000 LinkedIn contacts, and there's an excellent chance that if you're looking for a job, I may have in one of my contacts somebody that could help you. So it's worthwhile to link it to me. I do not deny LinkedIn requests unless they're from Romania or Russia or someplace where I think people are scheming to get. I see a lot of RU websites that are trying to attack my website. And if you really knew what was going out there in the cyber world, you would be scared. There are some very smart people doing some very bad things. So the thing about passwords, very important. But I invite you to link in with me. So, just by showing up and doing it, well, you did do a little wiggle, that's true, and you did go to the center of the room. We've done an icebreaker. We've talked about silencing phones. You've logged into Wi-Fi. You've gotten my contact info. You met me on Facebook. It's been a productive time so far. We've actually gotten some things done. Do you feel like, is this stretched you at all? Is this new? We're comfortable? Yes? No? Lot of confusion. Okay. Here's the problem. This is the way the world's going to be. It's not going back to the way it was. We now have people that have never lived their lives without the internet, and they're in the working world, and some of them might be your boss. So they grew up with this. This is normal for them. For some of us who grew up without, I remember listening to 45s and 78s, even the yellow ones. Back when I was a kid, the world's a very different place. And whether we like it or not, technology has come to a new standard. And so what I'm trying to do in Toastmasters, while we are very much a youthful group at heart, if we were to look at the cross-section of ages, we're probably in the average in the 40s, maybe. So if you're younger, there are some much older people that are offsetting you. But we're to the point now where we need to be able to work with this technology because this is how the world is starting to work. I'm calling it the new normal. So you have the equivalent of a Swiss Army knife. So let's say that you're about to speak and you want to know how your hair looks. And you don't have a mirror. What do? You can take a selfie, but why don't you go ahead and bring up the camera on your phone. And do you know that most phones have two cameras on them? There's one on the front, one on the back. Okay, do you know that they are not the same? The camera that faces you, you cannot zoom with. I'm going to suggest that unless you're shooting in really high resolution, you don't zoom anyway. Zoom with your feet. Because what the zoom is a false zoom. It's a digital zoom, and all it does is makes the dots bigger. So if it's a really high resolution, you can get away with it, but if it's low resolution, you become a series of very large dots that are connected. When you put that phone on yourself without taking a picture, are you looking at a mirror?
No. You're looking at what other people see, not what you would see in the mirror, because it's not flipping, giving you a mirror image.
Okay, I'm going to say it gives you a reverse mirror, okay? But it is a mirror. And the idea is that if your hair doesn't look right, you can fix it. If there's something in your teeth, you can see it. Before you go on stage, before you go and address your audience, you can look yourself over. Is that not cool? Yeah, everyone thinks it's cool. Okay. It's a tool. Use it. So let's talk about one of the things we can do. The obvious thing is to take pictures. Have we done that yet?
Yes.
We can take videos. Have we done that yet? I did. I got a video of all you doing the shimmy. That was actually pretty cool. Now what we do is we take those pictures and videos and we can put them on Facebook. We share them with our friends. And if we do that often enough, if you do it regularly, at some point in time, one of your friends is going to say, I see you take pictures at Toastmasters. What is the thing about that? And you will generate interest. You may or may not get new members to your club by this, but just by the sheer weight in numbers, people that you know and like, you'll be sharing this with. Aren't those the people you would want to join your Toastmaster club?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a great tool for doing that. Tell your friends what you're doing. Now, are you shoving it down their throat? Absolutely not. You're just sharing with them what you're doing. Now, by friending people in Facebook, you can say who you're with, and you can mention them. When you mention them, they will get notified that they were in a picture or they were in a post. All right? So what you're doing is you're creating a community, an online community. Now, it's interesting because the young people of our generation really gravitate to that idea. Now, they may not know who their next door neighbor is, but they've got friends around the world now, just because they're building these digital online communities. And Facebook is a great tool for doing that. My girlfriend grew up outside the United States. Her parents were spies for the CIA. Literally, her father spoke Arabic and ran spies. She made friends growing up all through the Middle East and is able to maintain contact with them all over the world through Facebook. How cool is that? How many of us are good letter writers? Yeah, not me. Okay, there's a couple. But if you could stay in touch with Facebook, it allows you to do that. So those of us who aren't good letter writers can literally stay in touch with people across the country, or they can keep tabs on us even though they may not comment on our posts. They're probably looking at them and saying, oh, okay, David's at a Toastmaster meeting today. So I think that's kind of neat. Here's the thing that's really cool that most people don't think about. And I'm going to hop out of Facebook. I'm going back. By the way, do you know how to hop and get back to your home screen? Okay, there's a button right in the middle on the bottom. And pretty much when you punch that button, it should take you right back to your home screen. Again, that gorgeous airplane in the background. I'm going over to my voice recorder, and my voice recorder is in the lower left-hand corner just above the phone icon. Now, I can record the words that I'm saying, and I'm doing so right now. I'm going to play them back for you. And I'm speaking a little loud because I'm in a room full of people. But if I wanted to, I could lay this phone down and literally record the speech that I'm giving. And I can see, you can see that my voice levels on this particular app, you could see the shadow on the microphone, so it gives you an idea of what the sound levels are like. So I'm going to stop that. And then I'm going to play that. And you can't hear it because I'm hooked up to this thing. But I recorded that. The idea behind this is that you have a tool that costs you nothing to record your speeches. By show of hands, yes.
Is that an app that you have to get, voice recorder?
There is an app. If you go to Google Apps, or they call it Google Games now, and that looks like, where is it?
Google Play.
Google Play, thank you. It's exactly,
Go back.
did I pass it?
Second.
Right here. It's this little suitcase looking thing with the triangle in it. So you can literally go in there, type in recorder or digital recorder or recorder app, and it will come back with half a dozen to a dozen free apps. And then some of them, they cost you 99 cents or $1.99 or $5.99. The most expensive app I own is a teleprompter app for my iPad, and that was 25 bucks. There are some that are more expensive, but for the most part, apps are not expensive. How many of you are running Apple equipment? iPhones, iPads? For $5, get iMovie. Oh my goodness, what you can do with that for $5. Yes, you can make cinema if you want. Record your speeches. Why? Why would you record your speech?
Hear yourself back so you can be critical of yourself and make improvement.
You can, okay, so you can hear what you sound like. Why else? Why else would you listen to your speech? Timing. Okay, why else?
Body language.
Body language. Listening to your speech? You have better ears than I do. For video, that might be true. What else? Why else would we record our speeches?
Count the ahs and ums.
Count the ahs and ums. Excellent. As Toastmasters. Yes?
Pitch and volume and modulation and varying that, not being a monotone.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes?
The cast called a paper trail.
To cast a paper trail?
Oh, yeah. If someone's talking on anything that might have legal weight, they want to have a paper trail of what they said.
Okay, so if someone's talking about something, it would leave a legal paper trail. I'm going to offer this. There's a lot of people that give a lot of speeches. Every once in a while, someone says something brilliant. You want to record that. How many times has that happened to you? It's happened to me a lot where I say something profound and it's like, oh man, I wish I remember what I said because it sounded really good. But if you record your speeches, you can see that you're getting better. You can check your tone, your inflection. By listening to a speech, it's one thing. By watching a speech with the sound off is a whole nother thing. And if you really want to see something odd, and you really want to learn about how you speak, you take your speech, watch it sped up 10 times without sound. And what you see in body language will surprise you. There's a gentleman that I did some video recording. He was doing this thing. He almost looked like he was working out during the middle, and he was completely unaware that he was doing it. Because in normal speed, it would look like that, and he'd kick that hip out, and then he'd come over here and kick that hip out. And he was doing it unconsciously while he's kind of pacing the stage. And it makes a difference. So especially if you're looking to speak professionally, or if you have to speak at work where what you're speaking about matters, that could be important. One of the things that I love that I discovered about a year ago is this nifty little app for timing speeches. It's called the Toastmaster Timer. And there's a paid version and there's a free version. Now, you don't even need to tell how long, which speech you give it. Oh, is it table topics or a 20-minute or projects 2 through 9? It's built into the software. You can't screw this up, even if you tried. All you got to do is pick a speech. Let's go with the icebreaker, and we start the timer. See, did you see when I hit icebreaker, it changed the times to 4, 5, and 6? When I do project 10, it changes it to 8, 9, or 10. 2 through 9, 5, 6, or 7. Isn't that not slick?
Can you also change it if there's a change away from the standard time to just pick something directly on that?
That would be
same time?
custom time.
Okay, there's a custom.
Check that out. So, again, you can't screw it up. It's perfect. So, if you ever are assigned to be a timer, you've got the perfect tool. And what does it cost? It's free. Now, they do have a paid version, and that money, it's like $2 or $3 or $4 at the most, where you can, that money goes back to the person who spent the time to develop it. And it gives them a little bit of money. But this is perfect for Toastmasters. This is literally made for us. So we've got a tool to time our speeches. We talked about the mirror. How many of you have gone and visited a different club? How many of you had a hard time finding it? How many of you have visited a club in a different state or a different time zone or a different country Okay, sometimes finding them can be a challenge. Another use for your phone, there's a GPS function on it and a navigate function. How many of you have ever used those functions? Okay, how many of you have no idea what I'm talking about? A couple of you. Okay, but there's a way that there are satellites that orbit the Earth that can triangulate your position, tell you where you are, and if you tell it where you want to go, it will map out the route for you. How cool is that? Now, GPSs are great, but they are not maps, because you can get lost with a GPS. You could go to the location that you want and have no idea where you are. So a GPS is not a map, but it's very handy if you need to go somewhere. Also, there's a navigate function that you can use, and if you needed to find Marshfield. How many people did not know where Marshfield was until they signed up for the district conference? Right, I didn't either. And how did you find it? GPS on the phone. Excellent, excellent. Okay, so then you're already using the tools. Now, I want to take just a quick departure. Google, it's been said, has taken over the internet, and well, that might be kind of true. They do some good things because, first of all, they do it altruistically for the most part. And secondly, it's one login for anything. So whether it's your Gmail, by the way, did you know when you sign up for a Gmail address, you automatically have a YouTube channel? You do. And I'm going to show that to you, and I'll show you exactly how to get to it. So here we are on the internet. Oh, there's Google Maps. I'm just going to open a new window here, and Google comes up as my search engine. And when it fully loads, I should get some information up here.
That's not your home screen. That's a blank screen.
Yeah. But I should get that when I go to Google. I used
You're
to
not
get
anywhere.
it could be that I am. This is what I'm looking for. Do you see these dots right up here in the corner? There's 9, that little square. That is the magic portal to all things Google. And when I click on it, that pops up. And it allows me to go, and you can't see, it's cut off that YouTube, news, and calendar functions are in the right-hand column. Now, I schedule my life on my Google Calendar. I can get it from any computer or my phone, and it's the same thing. And then I can also update it anywhere, so I really like that. But that's my thing to all things Google. I can go to Play, I can check my Gmail, and then there's also the Google Drive. So I just wanted to take you on that little detour. Because going into Google, I think it's good. I like it, and I use it to be able to communicate with people. In particular, I use the calendar function because when I make meetings with people, I can send them an email reminder for the meeting. And I think that that's very slick. Are there any questions at this point? Do we need to take a short break? Or shall we keep rolling?
Take a short break.
Short break.
Short break. All right, let's take a short break. Let's say 5 minutes. So if you're going to escape, now is the time.
I got a question for you.
Yes?
How do you make the iPod batteries, iPhone batteries last longer?
How do you make them last longer?
Like I'm always uncharged.
How old is it? How old is your device?
Last fall.
Huh?
Last fall.
You might want to take it back to the Apple store and let them have a look at it. Because your battery shouldn't be that bad that quickly. Yeah.
When you're done with them, because sometimes you have like 10 apps running all the time.
So, also we've got water up here for anyone who's interested.
So if you're on a, like on Facebook or on somewhere, how do you get off of that to take a picture?
You can go back to your home screen.
Okay. And then you can find the camera.
And then you go to the camera.
Yeah. Okay. I never did that thing where you take a picture with the other side.
Do you know how to do that?
I just figured out just today. You push this thing.
Yeah.
I didn't know
That
that.
swaps it, okay.
No, I just got this like 3 weeks ago.
Okay, and that's the other thing I want to mention, that it is really worth taking half a day or a day out of your life to do nothing but learn your phone, get online, Google it, read the
It took a long time
manual.
to put the numbers in there because I didn't transfer.
There are people who make their living doing nothing but helping people with their phones.
This is so cool. Thank you so much. This is a good time.
And you know what? That's, by the way, nice, that's an honor case.
Yeah. I draw these all the time for my wife insisted I get it when I got the good call.
And yes, and I see a lot of people with cracked phones, and I've never had one because I have a good case. Right. So you learned to use that application just today.
Yeah, I didn't know
It's your
you
very
could
first time.
push that and take pictures. I thought you went like this and then.
Now that you know that the phone has settings, explore them. You cannot break this.
No.
It's bad, you know, the only way you can break it really is to throw it against the wall as hard as you can.
And you can scroll.
And then you're doing it on.
Should be able to scroll down as you're doing it.
Afraid when I get into that settings, I'm gonna mess up.
Okay.
I'm gonna talk to you after you about
Okay.
Okay. That's cool. Flash on.
I know a lot of things.
So would the Zoom be over here?
The zoom
What
only
would
works in
you
the front, and that's
charge?
just by sliding your finger across the screen.
Okay, so.
We'll switch it to, oh, you're on there, so get rid of that.
Okay.
And then you zoom by,
And showed me like you
Oh, wait,
set up
there we go.
how to,
Slide your
do you have maps?
Yeah, I work.
Zoom it when it's like right here. It's like-
Yeah.
Do you have iMovie?
Slide your finger up.
I do on my iPad.
Okay.
I do on my
Okay, so
old-
if you want like that,
charge
just
me
take a
to-
picture with yours.
And
Show
4.0
me how to
is
actually
fine.
set it up.
Oh, that was a 4.0.
We can do
Four
that.
times.
You can get that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know, but I'm a,
Okay.
that type of thing, I'm more of a person standing right
No, that's a
there.
video.
Someone they
Where
grab.
you have something called
Right.
where they will actually do
And then
that.
just stop it?
Oh, but knowing you as a
That could be,
Toastmaster.
no. Just stop it, I don't think you're doing anything right now. You're videotaping.
You must charge by the hour.
Thank you.
I would charge it. Well, what I charge is a video.
And then you go back to,
Yeah, I would have no problem.
so you have all these running at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
That's like your power out. So if you want to get rid of it completely, just
Swap
slide
papers
it.
with something, so.
Yeah, when you're leaving,
And she said,
Yeah.
you know you have to look at
Now, the thing is that
how long can I know it depends on how much you have, this is the lowest one, 60. Do I have to have a system on there, or can I record as long as I have to?
you've got memory, and you can only use the memory that's in your phone. Now, you can put in SD cards or micro SD.
Oh, I can?
I don't know if you can on that, but I know that I can. And I put in the biggest card I can, because that allows me to. You actually take, take the coverage. Some you can and some you can't.
Just for an example, and it's an idealistic situation, say I have nothing on here, and nothing on the screen, nothing on the 16. How long should I record? You know that, it's approximate.
Well, no, because there's different resolutions. The higher the resolution.
Best
the shorter the
resolution, I
time.
wouldn't know.
Well, but the best resolution is something that you've got nothing to watch it on.
Well, I definition, I want to do it, I just gotta-
No, but your camera is so much better than your high definition television.
Well, I would still record that one.
You can, but you don't need to. You can record a lot more. And what I would do is I would
Because
sit
I do,
down.
my photo size is the same way with files, but and I can see the difference between 720 and 1080.
Yeah. Well, you know, when you come back, we're gonna do a little exercise, we're gonna have everyone pull out the calculator. We'll give you an idea of what resolution is and how much space it takes.
Oh, okay.
And that way you'll get an idea that there's a trade-off. And a lot of times, I don't send stuff out in high res like that, even when I shoot video. Because if they're gonna put it on the internet, it takes too long to load. Nobody can watch a video that doesn't load. And if they say, screw this, I'm moving on, then they never get to see it.
Same thing with my pictures, some people say, taking forever.
Well, right. But if you're shooting at 32 megapixels, the file size is getting enormous. And, you know, whatever you're looking at on it, if it's a computer monitor, you're lucky to get 19.
Can you put anything in an iPhone to increase memory?
I don't know. It depends
Yeah,
on the phone.
I didn't know you could do it to another phone, but I do know about SD cards and stuff.
Yeah, but that's how they do it, is they have an SD. Did you know it? Does it have a camera?
A very low res still.
Okay.
But they look great
But
on the
I gotta
phone.
just, no. I just, no. No, but I gotta switch to a computer-based phone. I just have to take my time to which plan I want, which carrier, whether I want to go with
I'm not a salesman, but people ask me why I have AT&T, but I've always had it. But it's international.
You can be on phones anywhere.
Right, okay, that way,
Money
yeah,
will
that
solve
way,
anything. Hi.
There you go.
I got a Nokia that's probably that old or just as old. Yeah, the flip-ups, yeah. I got one that's gotta be 20 years old.
I've got some.
I think Alan has
The case might be.
Oh, yeah?
I'm still at my mother's, she picked up secondhand an old cell phone that was
Yeah, that's old school. My first cell phone was a Banker.
So is that a P47?
No, that is a Skyraider. That is
Oh, an A1.
Yeah.
Is that your favorite?
It's one of my favorites. It's an amazing. It can take off carrying more ordnance than it weighs.
Yeah, well, if I still put an A4, those things are even loaded than a P17. And they were younger, and there were some fellows in Vietnam who could fire their machine guns, or even their rockets within, and there was they were trying to rescue someone down on the ground, and bad guys were like 50 yards away, they attacked bad guys.
Skyraiders excel at that. In fact, that's what they mostly used it for.
But the other thing that was good about them is, especially the street time place that had some of those guys came back and they were shot out.
Oh, yeah.
They went back and scrapped the engine afterwards, but they went back with their frame in the crew, whereas a lot of big engines shot at the engine.
Right? Yeah, there it is.
Okay, so I got Toastmasters timer.
So,
I
yeah.
got this one that's free, that one's free, that one's free, that one's free.
Yeah, I was
But that one looks like
just now and transition back in, or we can wait till the end?
Just got that.
Let's do it now.
If you hit it, if you hit that, it'll last.
That's what I thought it is.
So how does it work? Do you pass out tickets or do they?
I already passed it.
Okay.
Oh, you did? Where? What?
All right.
What tickets?
We're ready to do who wants prizes.
Yeah, but you
What
didn't
kind of
get it.
computer do you have that's dead?
Pardon?
What kind of computer do you have that's dead?
It is an HP laptop, and it's only dead because the batteries.
Right.
Because when I put it away,
Well, I've got a computer with me, it's not HP, or I would have loaned you enough for a charge.
I looked at it, but I also looked at that. This is an exercise in being able to embrace Plan B, and so it's been kind of fun actually. It's not the way I'd want it. There had been some very funny videos that you guys would have really enjoyed, and I regret not being able to share those
Did they
with
involve
you.
cats?
Actually, no. Because I have several presentations. I do one on video, and I do one on the cat, and the cat is tartar sauce, which actually goes, they call it now Grumpy Cat, but Grumpy Cat's real name is tartar sauce. And she is a very sweet cat that through generations of genetic inbreeding has caused her to look like she has a frown. She's a very sweet
She's the feline equivalent of the angry bluebird. Remember that one?
No.
There was and it was originally just a photo that was of a bluebird sitting on a post and was really grumpy and angry about something, just because it was straight on, just the way everything looked. And it was originally a National Geographic.
There's a whole Angry Bird thing now. Maybe that's where they got the idea from.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and start the raffle. So I've got Jason here.
That's right. Hi, everybody. How you doing?
Great.
Awesome.
Nice
All right.
round of applause for Jason with the prize.
All right, so this afternoon we have 4 door prizes, so we'll get your tickets out. The first one we have is a license plate frame with Toastmasters on it, where leaders are made. I'm going to shake up the bag and pick out this lucky number here.
I have the
This one.
Atari ticket.
Okay. Number 8492566.
Oh, yeah.
Is 8492566. Yes? All right.
We have a winner. Woo-hoo.
Very good. Okay, our next prize, we have, this is a tumbler water bottle.
Ooh.
All right. Shake it up real
Looks expensive.
quick. Yeah, it looks nice.
Very practical.
All right. I think this one. All right. 8492585. All right.
You got it. Yeah, hey, another winner.
Okay. Next we have a set of Toastmasters pens, complete with a case to protect them. Yes.
Ooh.
Just the thing to
How to protect your
write
pens.
you always have a pen handy for writing oral writing values.
For writing evaluations.
For writing evaluations. Yes. All right. Number 8492599. Oh, there are a
We've
couple
got it.
people who
Must be
stood up.
present to win.
2599. Yeah, I'll move on to the next one. All right. We have 8492586. All right.
Hey. All right, I'm going to throw in 2 more door prizes. Because I'm feeling generous.
You want to use the tickets for that too? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. The last one of the Toastmasters door prizes is a canvas bag with a, here, let me show you. With the Toastmasters logo, where leaders are made. Yeah. All right.
Bigger on the inside.
Very handy, can carry a lot more than your typical plastic bag. Won't break. And the number is
Well, I don't want it now.
8492577.
Yay! It's in the bag.
It's next to this first.
Okay. What I have here are 2 very inexpensive earbuds with microphones, okay? So what these means is that you can plug these into your phone and use it as a phone. You can also plug it in and record your speeches with it. So it's like having a microphone. So I've got 2 of them. Let's pick two more numbers.
Okay. Here we are. We have 8492576.
Yay! Let's have your ticket. Thank you.
Thank you.
And 8492583. All right.
Yay! Thank you very much. 483. Excellent. All right, and thanks for playing our game.
What do you call those? Earbuds?
Earbuds, and they have their earbuds that have a microphone in them.
Are they
So
like headphones?
it's basically like having a headset. So you plug them in your ears. There's a microphone down here. When your phone rings, it rings in your ears, and you can answer it on your phone and talk like people do in the grocery store, or if you've ever been in line at the DMV. Yeah.
You can also listen to music. They're just headphones with
Oh, okay.
This is why we're here today. This is what I want you to take away. So we've talked about using your phone, and we've gotten you loosened up a little bit to look at it and play with it. And some of you have actually learned some things that you didn't know about your phone. I'm going to say that most of us know maybe 10% of what our phones can do, because they can do that much. It is crazy how much they can do. But as Toastmasters, I want you to be able to master the skill of taking a testimonial video. And why would we do that?
So people know how great we are.
People know how great we are. Could be how great we are, how great Toastmasters is. When we do that, though, when we give a testimonial video, and do we know what that looks like? Okay, so let's shoot a testimonial video here. Hi, my name is David, and I'm here at the Toastmasters educational session. And it is amazing. The guy who's leading this is outstanding. He gives a great job. He's given great insights into all the things that are happening. And I'm just so glad to be here. Thank you, Toastmasters. It's that simple. Okay, I introduced myself. I answered a question, what is it that I like? Now, there's a couple of things that I may or may not have been mindful of, so let's take a look at the video and see how I did. You know, he's awful quiet for someone with a big mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, here's a couple of things. Do you see that it's bouncing around? It takes away from it a little bit. Okay, that's one of the reasons that we like tripods, is tripods keep things nice and still. Another thing, if we look at it again, so there's bouncing around, the lights in the background. Now, in this case, they're not so bright that they make my face a shadow, but frequently that can be the case, especially if you shoot in a window by sunlight. Cameras don't look at light the same way your eyes do. Cameras are attracted to the white, and they're kind of repelled by the black. And when I use a background, when I shoot video, it makes everything in front of it actually look more colorful. So the cameras don't look at it quite the same way that the human eye does. So the lights in the background. Now, if I shoot this video and put it up on the site, it could be a sucky video, right? But it's there. It's up on the site. It's working for you. It is something. Here's the thing about using your phone. When you do things for the first couple of times, your results aren't going to be that good. But that's normal. You have to practice. The more you do it, the better you get. The better you get, the better they look. The better they look, the more you want to do them. The more you want to do them, the better you get. The better they get, the better. See how that goes? So if you just start and shoot a couple, yeah, and maybe you're embarrassed to post them, so maybe you don't post the first couple. But as you see what you're doing and you look at them critically. Now, we want to look at our work critically, but you know what? The fact that I created that, now obviously I'm not going to post it because that would be self-serving, and I just did that for illustrative purposes. But if you're doing that for your meetings, maybe you want to give feedback. How cool would it be, rather than to give somebody a written evaluation, to give them a 2-minute video evaluation and then send it to their email? Or you put it up on your club's Toastmasters site, or maybe you have a closed group, which you can do on Facebook. It's very easy to create. It only allows people who are invited in, so you could keep it to club members only, where you could post evaluations. Now, if you think about that, if you're in a time crunch, you can only hold one Toastmaster slot in a day. But if you create the video on Tuesday and you evaluate someone else's video on Wednesday, can you claim credit for both of those? Say yes, because you can. All right? So this is a way you can actually do some stuff with it. You could get credit for Table Topics doing this. In fact, wouldn't it be fun to do a video Table Topics? Where actually you were just looking at people's videos. Okay, so here's the question. What does Santa Claus drive when his sleigh's in the shop? That could be a very interesting question. Is it a Buick or is it a road? Whatever. But whatever the answers are to that, could be very interesting. So testimonial videos. We want the others to drink the Kool-Aid. I use that term. How many of you guys remember Jonestown?
Yes.
And that thing? Okay. And while that has a negative connotation, a lot of people is that, so when you get to a certain belief level, it said that you've drunken the Kool-Aid. I have drunken the Toastmasters Kool-Aid, and I find it to be delicious. So we want to bring other people to us. How do we do it? We do it by testimonials. So how do testimonials actually work? When we make decisions, we make them logically, but we buy emotionally. And part of how we are wired as people is that if we don't have information firsthand, we will go and try to identify people that we think we have things in common with. To say it another way, we identify with people like us. We also identify with people who are in positions of authority, which is why they put athletes on Wheaties boxes. I personally, Michael Jordan has never gotten me to buy a pair of tennis shoes, but he has gotten millions of other people to buy tennis shoes, so there is something to that. If we can't experience something firsthand, we go to what other people say. If we look like we can trust them, and if we decide that we like them, and by the way, we do. We make these decisions unconsciously. That's why testimonial videos work. And they work very, very well. Now, you can write testimonials in a text, right? How many of you have been to a website and seen a testimonial? Okay. How many of you saw the thing in the news where they found that there were 17-year-old girls up in their bedroom writing plumbing reviews? That was a thing. They were actually getting money to write fake reviews and remodeling reviews. And it was that when they started writing the reviews, they didn't really know what they were talking about because 17-year-old girls don't know anything about plumbing for the most part. With a video, it's a real-life person, and you can't really fake that. And when that person then has a name, all of a sudden we can believe them because now they're a real person. Sure, that was Dave. I saw him right there. That works. And so when we do this for testimonials, we get people to believe. Does everyone believe that? How many people disagree with me? No? No, there are some people that say, oh, that's fake. Well, the thing is the less polished it looks, the more realistic it is. Now, I'm not going to ask you to raise your hand if you're over 50. But those of us who are, and I am one of them, we tend to like our videos polished because that's how we were raised, that's how we were brought up. We like the movies that way. There's another generation of people coming up that are in their 20s and 30s, and some of them are in this room, where they look at a video like that and they see authenticity. They see realism. That's something that can't be faked because it happened right there. And they're right. So the more polished these look, sometimes the less believable they are. Does that make sense? Okay, so we kind of want them to be edgy a little bit. And sometimes you can have some fun. You can do them while you're walking, so the background behind you is moving. And it also gives you a little bit of creative license. You can do some very different things with that. So we're going to talk about some tips for testimonials. First of all, the camera mode. If you take a look at your cameras, open up your cameras right now, take a look, and I want you to explore the settings. And those of you who, I'm going to go into my settings, and I can take the picture of mode, so I can go into an auto mode. I'm in beauty face mode.
Where do you find the settings for your camera?
Okay, first of all, you're going into the camera and it looks like you're ready to take a picture.
Yeah, there's nothing there then.
Okay, there's nothing around the borders. Okay,
Some cameras you have to like sweep across and break stuff up. Mine was
Swipe
different
from
than
the
that,
left.
but-
okay, swipe from the left. Yeah, actually I can make mine go away. I also have a gear on mine that brings in all kinds of details. Here, I'll go back. There's a gear. Do you see how I have some stuff?
Yeah, I don't have, I have, the two options I have are to turn it on as selfie or to turn it on to video.
So you have an expensive phone.
Oh, no.
No, I have no idea. Tell you what, is there somebody that can help you with that? There may be something else. The other thing you can do, and it's perfectly okay, is just start hitting buttons. If there are buttons. And maybe tap around the screen. Maybe your menu is brought up by tapping something below the screen as well. Now, I know that every one of these phones, when they were brand new, had a little book with them. However, software upgrades sometimes change things. All right? So we're looking at modes. Whenever you're doing a selfie or whenever you're doing a testimonial, you want to put it in the face mode. What that does is it makes the camera look at the face of the person. Where am I? I'm over that way. There I am. Okay. What that does is it allows it to focus on the face. There's nothing worse than a testimonial video when the person that you're trying to concentrate on is all fuzzy and they don't look right. Those don't look believable. But if you put it in face mode, and mine says face beauty, so now I've got this little circle that when it looks at me, it identifies my face. And then it tries to focus on that no matter where I'm moving. So, kind of cool. What that does is that it keeps my face in focus. So wherever that person is, and if you get that little circle or a little square sometimes, my video cameras have a square. But whenever I'm shooting a video of a face, I always put it in face mode because then it keeps the face always in focus. Okay? So that's number one. Number two is you want to avoid the backlight. We already talked about having the light in the background. The brighter the light, the more difficult it is, and what it will actually do is make you look like you're a silhouette. Number three, the zoom. We talked about the zoom. Now, one camera, the camera that is facing you, is a fixed camera. You cannot zoom in or out on that. I'm trying to move it and I can't. So when I swap cameras and I go to the other one, I can now zoom in and out just by spreading my fingers apart. Does everyone know how to do that? Okay. Now that's a digital zoom, and if the camera, let's talk about resolutions for a little bit, but before we do that, I want you to, let's have a quick lesson. Almost every phone in this room has a calculator on it, does it not? Bring up the calculator. I have to do a little hunting for mine. There's my calculator. Okay. So we're going to do a little bit of math. Now you've heard screen resolutions being thrown around, right? The first one is 640 by 480. So let's multiply 640 times 480. Okay? That is considered standard resolution. There are 307,200 bits of information in that square inch. Okay? That's called standard definition. That's what most televisions were. All right? So now we're going to get rid of that, and we're going to use the resolution 1280 by 720. 1280 and multiply that by 720. This is considered high definition television if it's 720p. It's not high def high res. It's just high definition. It's the one that will fill up your television. We went from 300,000 to 900,000. We tripled, by going up in resolution, we tripled the amount of data that is in that square inch. So if we go then to high resolution, which is 1920 by 1080, we are at over 2 million bits of information. So standard definition was how big? About 300,000? We're at high definition, we're at 2 million. Okay? Now, think about all this data having to race across the internet. There's a lot more data that has to show up. And then, by the way, this is high def, high res. This is now called 2K. That 1920 is close enough to 2000 where they call that 2K. When we multiply this, what is now called 4K is out. If you've ever been to Best Buy, they have some televisions out that display 4,000 bytes. They're absolutely stunning to look at. But man, my phone will actually take pictures of that. But so we double that 1920, that makes it 3840. We're going to multiply that by 2160, I believe. And all of a sudden, we were started out at 300,000 to get to 4K video. We are at almost, we're over 8 million bits of information. All right. Now, good thing our hardware is getting faster and faster. The thing is that if you're shooting video, the lower resolution you use, the faster it loads. The less data is handled, and by a lot. So this is 1 square inch of data. If you're having moving video, that's just sucking information the way a tractor pull sucks gasoline, I guess, or something like that. Just lots and lots of data. So high resolution isn't necessarily better. There's kind of a trade-off. Because if you're in a slow internet connection, if it takes too long for your videos to load, people may never watch them. So lower resolution, if you're in doubt or if you're not sure, the other thing is that lower resolution doesn't have to be displayed full screen. It can be displayed in a smaller screen and still look just fine there. So I wanted to take us off on that little journey just to talk about resolutions, because it has to do with when we zoom in or not. I'm going to go back into my camera and go into the settings. I want you to see what this thing will do. Now this is a Galaxy S5. The pictures. Keep in mind that a television is 1920 by 1080, a high definition one. Can you see the sizes here? 5312 by 2988. Oh my goodness. I got nothing to watch that on. That resolution. Now, if you're going to print it, you could actually print a very large poster from data that size. And even still, the 12 megapixel is 3984 by 2988. That's huge. So, where is mine set on? It's set on the lowest one. Okay? If I have it set on the lowest one, and I can't tell the quality of the pictures because they're all so high, I'm looking at them on my computer monitor, and it doesn't go up as high as even the lowest one. So what's the point of taking pictures with higher resolution? What it does is they just take up more space, and you use up your space faster. So pick a lower resolution, and I'm very happy with my very low resolution at 6 megapixels. I still got nothing that I can watch that really takes advantage of that. So all my pictures on this phone look absolutely great. Now that's in picture mode. Let's take a look at the video size. Now I'm shooting my video in high def, high res, or they call it full HD, 1920 by 1080. I've got other sizes, and the 4K is also called that UHD, ultra high definition. I like this because even if I do zoom in on it, I can play with it when I'm editing. And I could, all the video I release, I actually release it in 1280 by 720. I release it in that mode. Because for me, that's a trade-off. It's still high definition, but I'm only sending a third of the data that high definition, high res. Who has any idea what I'm talking about right now? Okay, you're staying with, good, good, I'm impressed. All right, question, yes?
In terms of resolution, if you wanted to do a still picture and wanted to print out a nice 8 by 10 print of it, what resolution would you use?
Probably the lowest, on my camera, I could use the lowest one, and I could probably print something that's 2 foot by 3 foot in high resolution.
If I have a picture that looks like $1 million, like you said, on the camera now, why is it when I put it on the computer and print it out, it looks like trash?
Something's changing it.
Okay.
If there's something being changed, it could be your print drivers, it could be a number of different things. If you were to copy the picture to your computer and then you right-click on the picture and you look at the properties, you'll always be able to see what the resolution of the video or the picture is. And you can compare what it is on the phone to what it is on the computer. And if it's good on the computer, you should get it to print. So it may be something that's translating between your phone and your printer. But it's probably not your camera.
I have a question regarding Facebook. Is there an optimal or max video length if you're putting video on Facebook that you recommend? I know quality is going to affect that, but I was just kind of curious for recommendations for that kind of thing.
All right, if you look at my business card, and I would encourage you all to pick one up on your way out, it says 30, 60, or 90-second videos. I measure my videos in seconds. If you're measuring videos in minutes, it better have airplanes in it for me, or I'm probably not going to watch it. Or bikinis. I like bikinis too. I prefer airplanes. But I need something that will hold my interest. And I'm going to say that because I do video work professionally, I try to get my videos as short as I can. Shorter to me is better. As a nation, our attention span is shrinking. When I look at a video on the internet, my thought is, do I want to invest that much of my life looking at this video? If it's under a minute, there's a chance that it's yes, and if it involves cats, then probably, because there may be something funny there, and I'm always up for a good laugh. But when I look and I see 5 or 7 minute technical videos, you know, give somebody a fork so they could gouge their eyes out after a while. It's just, nobody's going to want to do that. Long videos, who watches them? I mean, how many of you have ever, back in the day, this is going to date some of you, have ever been invited to somebody's home and they whip out their slides? Been to a slideshow? Okay, what is the length of a slideshow you can do without wanting to do yourself bodily harm? It's about 20 minutes. And if it's other people's kids, it may be down to 5 sometimes because their kids are like perfect. Have you? Is that just me? I've been to people that's like, yeah, I got kids too, and mine are great. Yeah, no, ours are special. No, they're not. Your kids are evil. But if you go by that rule, there's only so long. Now the question is, what are you doing with it? What's the purpose of it? Maybe it is something good and informational. Maybe you take something that takes 10 minutes to film, so you're filming it. Now that's a very valid reason to have a 10-minute video. Maybe you're showing a drawbridge going up and down and they just don't move quickly. Yes?
I think if you've ever watched TED Talks, I mean, those are talks that are like in 5 to 7 minutes and they're incredibly full of information. But I know when I tune into a TED Talks, I'm going to hear something fascinating. If I'm on Facebook, chances are it's not fascinating, so it better be less than a minute.
Right. Actually, TED Talks has a time limit. Do you know what the time limit is? 18 minutes. 18 minutes max. And then this.
I don't think I've ever watched one that was longer than 7 on purpose.
Well, right. There's a giant hook that will come out, pull them off. No. Yeah. They get the red light, and then they start flicking the red light on and off, right? Have you guys ever been in a club that did that? Seriously? No?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay. And we had where the timer would start throwing things at you. But that was me. Yes?
you talk about the length of a video because it gets boring after a while. Well, that was an extreme term. What if you have a too long of a video, but you're changing the topics in it? You know, like if you had a 10-minute video showing a bunch of 45-minute clips about the same subject, but like different chapters of a book, is that still considered too long?
Excellent point.
For an attention span?
An excellent point. One of the things that I do is I do shoot a lot of speakers in my video business. And what I have done, and it was very successful recently, is I had a young lady who's talking about marketing. And she talked to me and she said she wanted to get some video from this. I told her, do not write your presentation for the audience. Write your presentation for the camera. Write it to do it in 2-minute bits of social media. And when you do it, pause in between them. Give me a place to edit. So what you have instead of a 20-minute talk is 5 4-minute sections or 10 2-minute sections or combinations thereof of video that can be used directly for your business, not all at once. You can drip it through social media, you can put it on your website, you can send it out as a blog post. All of a sudden, this is very useful stuff. So changing the way we present, and you guys are on the leading edge of this because this is how things are going to start seeing that when professional speakers go out and they speak to an audience, you may want to think about how you organize your speech. And if you can organize it into 2 to 3 minute bites, and then when you see the film of that, you've got a little piece there that's digestible. 3 minutes, not as good as 2, but a lot better than 10. So, and if it's compelling stuff, then people will watch it. Now, what makes compelling stuff is if there's some sort of emotional hook in it. And when I do video, my job is to make sure that we reset that hook about every 30 seconds. And a lot of times to go to 90 seconds, it better be very powerful stuff. Now, if you see my cards, you're going to see that there's a link to my Vimeo site. I have a video that is for, I have a client that makes enrichment devices for animals. That's a fancy term for toys. And they made a drum that the elephants have at the Milwaukee County Zoo. And they open this drum up, they put hay in it, they put some treats in it, they put a ball in it so the elephant has to work its trunk in it to find the treats. And it's amazing how these elephants will pick this drum up, roll it around so they move the treats near the hole and then reach in and grab them. And they have figured this out. And it was fun to watch them. Where I'm going with this is that video was 2 minutes. But the zookeeper was narrating most of it and giving a demonstration on how to load it. And then there was elephants that were racing over to this, picking this thing up, twirling this drum around, and pulling the treats out. And you were fully engaged for those 2 minutes. You didn't feel like you wasted any of your life. You thought, wow, those are cool. And man, elephants really are smart because of that did that. And there was, right near the end of the video, my customer sells this drum, and you can go out and buy big plastic chemical drums or water drums that they sell for rain barrels, the blue ones. Well, there's a picture of that one that was crushed. And I needed to put that on because my customers' barrels don't crush that way. One of the things we discovered about these elephant barrels is if the diameters are the same on both sides, they will roll into the moat 100% of the time eventually. So we need to make them so they look like a trapezoid from the side so they will roll in a circle. Anyway, I digress. But there are some reasons that some videos are longer, but you have to keep people's interest. And if you don't, then you may lose. Yes?
Another advantage you have if you have a series of short segments instead of one long one is that sometimes people look at something and say, well, this is interesting, but I don't have time to look at it right now. Or I want to look at a certain part of this, but I don't want to have to look through the whole thing to see that one section. Or particularly if they're going back to look at a section again, sometimes some videos, it's just not that easy to go through them and get back to that point, and you just lose people that way. So if you have the sections, they can go to the sections that are interesting to them.
Sure. Just to reiterate that point, I'm going to suggest that a changing paradigm as a speaker, if you divide your speech up into 2 to 3 minute segments or whatever your subject topic is that's engaging and keeps your audience interests, organize it that way, That way you can shoot it on video and then use it in smaller pieces. You don't have to shoot it all at one time. This is especially important if you're doing highly technical stuff, because the more technical it is, the more boring it tends to be. The audience gets to be a very razor-thin selection of the population. Questions on that? All right. We are not out of time, but I'm ready for questions if there are any. Yes?
Okay, so you shoot the video on your camera. How do you get it in Facebook?
Oh, what a great question. Let's see how that works. So I've taken a picture already, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm logging into Facebook.
It's a video.
Pardon?
If it's a video.
If it's a video. If videos, photos, they work the same way. So here I am. I can put into status, and I'm going to put in my workshop. And I'm going to upload the shimmy video, because that was fun. So I hit the camera. Now, do you see which ones that I'm looking at? I believe it's going to be that one, because that's a video. Let's just, and then I hit done. And then I need a little more description. So I put it in just as I was posting a photograph. I'm uploading a video. So those of you who are my friends on Facebook now will be able to see that video just as soon as I friend you. Mary?
Yes.
Yes, we're friends. Peter? We're friends. Roberta? Yeah, we're friends. Tony?
Bingo.
Yeah, we're on. Ken? Ken? Yeah, we're friends. Shambhala? Yes, we're friends. Katie? Yes, friends again. Look at this. Woohoo! All right, Jennifer, we're friends too. And look at all these friends I can add. Now, do you see, if you know Facebook, some of these people I may know, some of them may not, but we do have, Facebook is giving me suggestions because I have mutual friends. Like Marco Polo, I know 20 people with him.
Do you want to go back and play the video that got uploaded?
I can.
That just looks like a whole lot of fun, everybody.
Now, Kinza is going to get notified because I put her name on it. She's one of my friends, and I mentioned her specifically. So she's going to see that that happened, and it's going to tickle her because now she has now touched the lives of another 50 people that she didn't even know about. So, and by the way, that's a great technique. It's a way to kind of be an icebreaker for your group too. So that's live on my Facebook page. Oh, who is this? It's the biking accident. We won't go there. Any other questions? Our time is almost up, but we've had some fun. Was it worth coming to?
Yeah.
Did you learn something? Now, thank you. Can you go back and take this to your club? Can you, and this is not rocket science. We're not trying to put people on Mars. We're just going to put their pictures on Facebook and kind of spread the word and how awesome Toastmasters is. All right? I'm going to have a table outside for the next 2 hours. I'm going to sell some things. I sell little digital recorders that you can use besides your phones. I sell tripod mounts for cell phones and also some very lightweight tripods. So I'm going to be out next door. Other than that, I want to thank you for being an excellent audience and give yourselves a big hand.